What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get back into what's going on in Iraq. People were hitting me up about one of the articles that was in the news today, and we will get to that here in just a moment. Um, he looks a little bit like George Lopez. You know what I mean? Like a Middle Eastern version, Kurdistan version of George Lopez, except for his nose is too small. Anyways, okay, before we get into this, you guys know if you're thinking about buying precious metals, and you should, I hope you guys watch the videos. The two of them I did on the 2008 market crash. Hopefully, you'll be able to gain something from that. And just know, this is what you have to be prepared for. So if you are thinking about moving into precious metals and you're motivated by those two particular videos, please give a consideration to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer in Puerto Rico or United States and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and get a free half ounce of silver. You know, we got Pimpy's Investment Chat on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. It's free to join. Free 99. The link's down below in the description. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. I encourage you to come and join us, because a lot of times you guys ask me questions. I can't get back to them all the time. At least I try it, but there's a 10. So the people in this group are really good about answering questions. If you have some questions about something, all right? So I want to encourage you to go join us over there. All right, so what's going on over there in Iraq? Somebody brought this up to me. This article, but the other one, you'll know, it has to do with the exchange rate. They said, when you talk about the economy and all that stuff, and let's just take this particular article, for example. I said, okay. An agreement to pay the dues of all farmers for the year 2020. And so this is what I was talking about. I don't know how the farmers could continue to just exist and farm when they haven't been paid for in some cases, years. And then my friend said, well, yeah, over here, they'll take it to black market, or, they'll find other ways, or sell it on a black market in bulk, or they'll take it to, like a, what did they call it? Like a bazaar. I don't want to call it a bazaar because that was the wrong name. Like a flea market or swap meet. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people, they sell stuff there, so they'll take it themselves to the streets and sell it. And I was wondering how the hell they survived, man. Seriously, and it just never dawned on me that they could do that as well. But the funny thing is, they in here they're going after individuals, okay, who are increasing. Look at this, the unauthorized increases in the crops. And I thought, well, it's interesting, but when you read it, you get why. So you have some farms who are official, and they do all the farming, and the food goes to where it needs to, and those people get paid, and then they pay taxes on what they get paid for. What they're talking about is farmers who grow, who are not registered or not authorized, and then they sell their food, and then they don't pay any dues or taxes, which I thought to myself, that's crazy, a black market farm. So I guess it always dawned on me, and I don't know about you guys, but if somebody bought a farm and they farmed on there, it's their food to do whatever how they want with it, in my opinion. But I guess it never dawned on me that, yeah, you have to pay taxes on that too for some reason. Crazy. So anyways, this is what this article is talking about. Now, how this affects, again, the currency. You'd be surprised how much of this stuff affects the currency. So if people are getting paid regularly, let's just say there's no hiccups, there's no problems whatsoever. People are making their money, they're farming, they're doing what they can to make a living. Well, of course, if they're getting paid regularly, then what happens? Well, you pay off your bills and you take care of all your normal expenses. And then whatever monies you have, discretionary funds or extra funds, you go out and you spend it. You go buy new clothes, TVs, whatever. I'm just using these as an example. Go out to the restaurant, you go to the movies. See what you're doing? You're putting money into the economy. It's part of the economy growth process. The fact that the farmers are working and don't have to get on any type of government aid helps as well. So the more people you get off government aid, the more people you put back into work, that means there's less money coming out of government and more money going into government. See how that works? So yeah, these are different things that affect the exchange rate, the power, the purchasing power of your dollar. You know, unfortunately, most all currencies are manipulated, including ours. So, but for the most part, generally speaking, that's how it works. So yeah, this was a. I was like, that's a good. I get where you're coming from. You're trying to figure out how all this ties in together, and I hope for those of you who might have had a question about that, you understand. So when we review some of these things, we kind of go over it. You know, all this one way or another ties into it. You know, we're talking about the government, we're talking about the country, we're talking about it rebounding, getting back out there, and having some form of normalcy, I guess is the best way to put it. So yeah, this article is talking about, again, these farmers are finally getting paid for the year 2020. 2020. Man, I automatically I thought to myself, how do these guys survive? It never dawned on me that you could just take your product yourself and go sell it. But yeah, I felt like a doily after I heard that. So yeah, that's what this article was, but I wanted to use it as the example of how these things, when you look at the different articles, how you can get an idea of how it affects the overall purchasing power of a dollar. Okay, I did multiple videos showing you, you know, what determines the purchasing power or the exchange, the exchange rate, the things that affect the exchange rate of a country's currency. So these are the types of things we look for. So the president of Kurdistan's regional government arrives in Greece on official business. Yep, so our buddy over there, Barzani, left on Thursday, went to the Greek capital, Athena. I think he went there ahead of everybody else. But anyways, it's the first time this has ever happened. Good. This is good. We want to start establishing relations or securing or improving relations with other countries so we could also start doing a lot of free trade. I noticed an increase in activities with a lot of different countries. And there's a small part of me that tries not to put on that tinfoil hat wearing brain of mine, but I'm like, I'm wondering if they are starting to jockey for sides. You know, I kind of see something bigger getting ready to happen, whether people are going to finally rise up against this New World Order agenda, the Great Reset. So I think people are trying to figure out what is the right side to be on, if you get my drift. We're very vulnerable right now, so I think that might be pulling into question our capability of protecting a lot of people. Hopefully that's not the case. So anyways, yes, I'm noticing that a lot of countries besides Iraq are doing a lot of negotiating right now. So very interesting. But yeah, we want Iraq and Kurdistan to get over there, do what they need to do, anything to bring in investors. So that's what they're over there doing, talking about how to secure relations as well as improve each other as far as investments are concerned. The Ministry of Oil confirms the role of American companies in developing the oil industry. So, you know, when Dr. Shabibi, and I talked about this several times too, when Dr. Shabibi was there and they're going into the Paris Agreement, you guys know the story. He actually walked away from the table. He said he didn't like it, despite the fact that these people were going to knock off trillions of dollars in debt that Iraq owed if they agreed to sign on to the Paris Agreement. Dr. Shabibi said, you know, but the agreement was you had to implement monetary policies set by the IMF and the World Bank. Dr. Shabibi reviewed it, and he didn't like it. He walked away from the table. And he said it doesn't do anything. I mean, he says it keeps inflation low, but it doesn't do anything as far as growing the economies the way the policies are written. So one way or another, they got talked back. They signed into it. They went into the Paris Agreement. But one thing about the Paris Agreement, it's all tied into this globalist movement. The thing is, with what they normally do, they go into other countries. They put in their leaders, representatives, that will, what's the best way to put it? Think like we do. They're on the same page. People they could talk to get them to pass policies and procedures that are favorable to, let's just use our country. So favorable to American corporations going into their countries and stealing the resources is what it comes down to. Okay. So, but yeah, you see this. Here we are already over there. The Ministry of Oil discussed developing the oil and energy sector with the American side, increasing investment opportunities during the meeting with the American ambassador in Baghdad. So of course we want to do what we can to bring more business into Iraq. But you know, any country should be careful about the strings that are attached in order for this to happen. I did a video showing you guys that China had been going all around the world lending money to countries he knew were dirt poor, or they knew they were dirt poor and couldn't pay back. But the agreement was they would have to surrender the areas that they were trying to rebuild infrastructure-wise. And most of the time there were ports. So they would flip these ports into naval bases. So this is why countries like Iraq, who seem vulnerable, we don't want that to happen. So they become, basically you're selling off parts of your country. And the most important ones, the natural resources, and then again, ports where you come in and out of. But yeah, China's been over there. China's dealing with Iran. They're allies of Iran, but that's what they've been doing. The United States has picked up on this. The United States is pretty guilty of it themselves. But anyways, they're over there. They're talking about this, bringing in outside investors to do what they can to improve the oil and gas sector of their business, which is good. With a value exceeding $3 million, the international coalition handed over weapons and equipped the, the forces over there. How about that? Because some of these words are a little hard to pronounce. Anyways, the Peshmerga forces received a bunch of weapons, approximately $3.3 million worth, from the international coalition to help them with their fight against ISIS. And of course, you understand how that affects the dinar. So speaking of, the international coalition came out and just said point blank, any attack against Baghdad, Kurdistan, and the international coalition undermines the authority of the institutions as well as the nation's sovereignty. So again, we got these little groups out there, armed. They will steer the pot a little bit. So it's talking about right here, the drone incident. So there was 3 drones that attacked the airport. But no humans were killed, none of the materials were damaged, so all good. Like I said, there's something up with their missile system. They can't seem to hit a target. But that's what this long article is about. You know what I mean? Doing something to tamper down all these armed groups running around, causing havoc over there, trying to cause civil unrest, which is good. That's what we want them to do, go in there and tamper it down. Here's the article everybody was asking me about. So let's go over this. Document. The Central Bank of Iraq takes a step that may contribute to the decrease in the price of the dollar. Yeah, I know. I spoke about this yesterday, remember? And I said, oh, look how much money they sold in auctions. It was the highest amount since they decreased the value of the Iraqi dinar. That explained a little bit how this works. This is good. Think supply and demand. So the more they put out there to sell, the more they will think supply and demand, the more of these that are on the market, then the less value they have. This is good for the dinar. Whole purpose of the auctions, remember, were to one, build up their foreign reserves, their foreign asset reserves and currencies. That also contributes to the value of an exchange rate. In addition to that, they needed to, and I think they did, which is stop the dual money use. So in that country, you can use both American dollars and the dinar. And you guys will correct me on this one. I think when Al-Qademi first got in, or he said no more using U.S. dollars, use Iraqi money only. So what that does, it strengthens up the currency, the dinar, and also it starts to build up credibility back with the citizens who've lost faith in their currency. So that's a good thing. That's what we want to see happening. So the increase in sales is good for the dinar. It stabilizes it because we know on the markets, the Iraqi dinar has been losing ground to the U.S. dollar. So this is one way they could help right the ship, so to speak, to keep it from going in the wrong direction. So again, I talked about this process yesterday in a video, or was it the day before? So that's it for now. But yeah, we like this. Heck yeah, we do. The more we could strengthen and support the dinar, whatever they need to do, all of these contribute one way or another, all the articles. That's why when we talk about them, we read them. If you don't understand why we're reading the articles that almost don't seem to have anything to do with the dinar, this is why. For those individuals that do know, we cover that part, those articles. So this one here, selling more of the American dollars, putting more in the market, floods it, thinks supply and demand, and then it loses its value because there's so many of them out there compared to the Iraqi Dinar. This is a good step. Of course, if you could stabilize the country, tamper down all the armed militia crap, this is good for the dinar. Handing over weapons is good. It helps secure the nation, which is good for the dinar. Outside investors coming into Iraq, that's good for the dinar. Barzani going out there and dealing with other countries as far as what they need to do to help the country. 1, stay secure. 2, keep their sovereignty. And 3, do trade with, helps the dinar. And the same thing here. Farmers getting their money, employees getting paid. It helps the dinar because now they're able to go out there and buy things and stimulate the economy. That's how all these articles tie into what is going on with the Iraqi dinar. I hope that helps you guys. Anyways, that's it for now. Hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel. And I surely do appreciate it. So that's it for now. I'm out. Peace.